Up the Wars!
Okay, what a way to start, Tony Kemp.
Let's go!
Why aren't you wearing your Warriors shirt today?
I just thought I'd wear my Jaguars shirt today, just, get in the mood with the NFL season starting. Got the Warriors on the weekend. Oh, mate, I'm getting pumped for this sold-out crowd. I can't wait.
Your two favourite teams as well.
And the big thing is, I can't lose.
No, you can't.
Who would have thought?
The chameleon will be eating all the leaves on the trees come Saturday night. Welcome into Running It Straight for a Wednesday. We are just days away from a home final at Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart, the first there since 2008. And there is a real buzz, isn't there, around rugby league town here in New Zealand and around the Warriors. Tickets went on sale to the public yesterday, sold out in minutes. That no surprises there after the members and the pre-sale snapped
Around
them all
the world.
up. Look, we got a bit of time before we catch up with both Rocco Berry and Phoenix Crossland out of the Warriors and the Knights respectively. Give us a call. Let us know if you're heading along. Let us know where you're coming from. I know some people are flying over from Brisbane. Some are coming from Perth. I know a lot of you are flying up from Christchurch and Wellington. If you got tickets and you're coming up, give us a call. Let us know your excitement levels ahead of Saturday afternoon. Kick off at 6:05. We will have live commentary here on SENZ. Myself and Kempy will be at the ground, and the buzz is going to be amazing. One thing that interests me, Kempy, we're obviously going to talk about this exclusively between 3 and 4. We might not even touch on the Storm Roosters, but one thing that I saw the Warriors come out with, maybe it was the members who received the email. Obviously, the NRL control the finals. When it gets to finals football, the NRL control it all. They look after the ticket sales. They look after the allocations. They take over even us, media. We had to go through the NRL to make sure we have our commentary box, our parking, everything like that. And the Warriors sent out an email saying to people, just be aware that game day is actually going to look a little bit different. They can't do what they normally do, the Warriors themselves, so things like halftime entertainment. For me, most disappointingly, that the pre-game walkout, they're not going to be able to do the blackout with the smoke and the music. It's just a standard run out as per sort of the NRL's conditions. So it's going to have a bit of a different feel about it on Saturday from what Warriors fans are used to, but still, Kempy, there's going to be 30,000 people at Mount Smart for finals football. It's going to be fantastic.
Look, I'm sure they'll still try and keep it pretty close to what the Warriors are used to. You got to remember that the NRL, they also do state of origin, they do international football. So running an event should be second nature to them. A little bit disappointing if they can't black it out. If it is darkish around that time. But yeah, mate, for me, Sammy, is 100 metres by 60 metres or whatever it is, and you've got 80 minutes of football. I'm more focused on what's going on the field after the last couple of weeks, because coming out of the Dolphins needing a rest and then going into Penrith and not being prepared for semi-final football is probably the wake-up we need going into this game against Newcastle, who are 10 on the bounce. And when you break down the Newcastle side, and not many people have done this, and I said this to Smithy this morning, if you have a look at their backline alone, it's basically an international 5 at the back. So you got Kalen Ponga that's played Queensland. You've got Dom, who plays for England, Dom Young. You've got Marzu, who will play for New Zealand this year on the wing, because between them they've scored 40-odd tries.
Well, does he replace Dallin or Jermaine Asako?
Well, I think he's. Do you want my honest opinion?
I do.
I think he's in front of both of them.
Okay.
I think he's the number one winger in the competition at the moment from New Zealand. And then if you look at the centres with Best and Gagai, you got a New South Wales centre in young Best, who's probably going to go in there for Mitchell on the Australian side, and you got Dane Gagai, who's played for Queensland and Australia. You know what I mean? So they've got a very, very good 5, and we spoke about this last week against Penrith. One of the areas which we lost straight from the get-go was our kicking game and our inability to stop the back 5 from bringing the ball forward.
Yeah. And
that put us in really bad field position for the whole 80 minutes of that game against Penrith, and we just never ever got into a position to threaten.
Were you convinced, or are you convinced that Sean Johnson wouldn't have made a difference on Saturday?
No, yeah, I am. I am convinced that he wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Because they just weren't across the board. And I got this from Webby this morning, taken away from the conversation, is that the boys that had been to the finals before, so we're talking, the senior blokes that have been around finals time, basically saying like that wasn't finals football from us. That's what they're saying. Now it is when you get through your 26, 27 rounds of football and go to the next stage, mate. It's a long game, finals football. It's not, I want to score a try and I want to bounce back and score another try. You actually have to work for it and you have to stay in the game and you have to win that field position and the possession game to actually grind teams down. And if you go back to Friday night when Brisbane played Melbourne, that's exactly what they done. When me and you were talking at halftime and I was saying, Brisbane get them, 20 here, that it was because they had ground them down and they were just hanging on.
Yeah.
And if we don't get into that grind against this Newcastle team that actually over the last 10 weeks has built some pretty good form, then again, we'll just get done on the bounce of the ball.
So be honest here as well. Are you confident that what we saw on Saturday, the Warriors can match it with Penrith and Brisbane? Or do you from what you've seen, do you just think those two teams are a streak ahead of everyone else?
I do. I honestly think that Brisbane and Penrith are probably going to have the next week the worst games of their life not to make it through to the final. They are a step ahead of everyone at the moment. And I think everyone would say that, but, football's a funny thing, Sammy. You get there, been in games where you've been written off and been in games where you're meant to have won and all of a sudden it doesn't go your way and a call doesn't go your way or an HIA happens at the wrong time and all of a sudden, you've lost your bench and these are all the things that can happen in football. Then 80 minutes of football rolls your way and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you could be in the grand final, but to get there this week, there needs to be a dramatic change in intensity. And there needs to be the will to want to hang in games and hang there for a long period of time to wear down teams. And if they don't get that experience this week when they win this game, if it is just they both show up and they play like a club game, mate, they're going to go into Brisbane and Penrith underdone.
Yeah.
But I'm talking to Melbourne too.
I think I definitely think that the Warriors deservedly are favourites this weekend against Newcastle. I think they certainly can get the job done, but I think you're right. I think there needs to be a lift, certainly intensity, to show that they can match it with Brisbane the week after. So I want to talk about the team list very shortly, but a quick one that's come in here from Ben Fox on YouTube, and you can drop a comment on there or text on 8833. He says, can you ask Kempy how much of a difference playing 90 minutes is the week before on the body and the fitness and what it means playing the following week? Obviously, Newcastle going into extra time against the Raiders. Does that tell us what an extra 10 minutes sort of does?
Well, it's the extra day too. Like they don't get the extra day that the Warriors do with recovery. Look, an extra day recovering in this competition is massive. When you get 7 days to recover, you basically get your full complement and all of your sessions in during the week that's needed to get you prepared. So Newcastle don't have that. They go the extra time. It does take it out of you, but in saying that, the way they would have felt after that, I don't know if you saw the post-match with Kalen Ponga and walking around because it was their last game at home, and the feeling from that Newcastle crowd. And I've played in front of that 30,000 people many times, and they give you such a lift in that hometown that the adrenaline, I think, for them to get out of that game and go, right, actually, we're going to need to get into this next game because we're on a high.
Yeah.
I don't think it really plays too much this week. I think, if anything, it's probably going to affect them next week. But this game this week, because they got through that, Canberra, they're still on a high.
Oh, they always say that it's after Origin. It's not the week after Origin, it's the 2 weeks after. The week after Origin, like you said, they're still running on adrenaline. They're still running on that high. It's the following week that they can crash and burn.
Exactly.
I think full strength. The teams are very, very even. The good news for Warriors fans is that there is no Jackson Hastings, there is no Lachlan Fitzgibbon, and those are.
But is it a good thing?
Well, those are two big outs for the Knights, I think. Particularly Lachlan Fitzgibbon. I was talking to Steph yesterday. He said, where are they? Where is sort of their strength? So I said, their forward pack is one of those forward pack that just plays nasty. Well, the Tyson Frizzels, the Lachlan Fitzgibbons, they just play nasty up the front. They're not bullies like Penrith are and like guys like Infanua Blake, but they niggle. And to not have one of those in the form of Lachlan Fitzgibbon, I think that is a big loss. So I think...
Well, see, I disagree. I think that Lachlan Fitzgibbon... is at the back end of his career. And yes, it would have been nice to have him in there, but Dylan Lucas has been absolutely outstanding for Newcastle and as a replacement. Played a bit of centre, plays a bit of back row, but just one of those kids that you look at going, wow, this kid has a big future. And the addition of Adam Clune, like even when Hastings went off, they went a hell of a lot better with him actually off the pitch. And over the last month, with Adam Clune in there, what it looks like to me is Adam Clune is like really solid and just doing his role and knows how to play it because he's a specialist 7, which releases Ponga and gets Ponga into these positions to actually, especially down our left edge, which is up against Rocco Berry and Watini Zalesniak, some very potent attacking football down there with Marzu and Bess. So, I think when you look at it, and I was saying this morning, it's really similar. You know, Jackson Hastings, Sean Johnson with a soft tissue injury. All right, so you got Clune in there. Hopefully, when we lose, or if we don't lose Sean and he stays in there for 80 minutes. And then when you go into the back row and you're talking about Fitzgibbon, well, it's sort of like when our back row changes and if we lose the hooker and then we lose a back row into that hooking spot. So there's sort of a muchness and a likeness to those two changes. For me, it's really like who really wants to get into the arm wrestle? You know, who actually wants to roll their sleeves up, lose their breath, get some real challenge under their hat and hang in there as long as they can and bury teams. Because if they don't do that against this Newcastle side, like I said right at the start here, Sammy, mate, they got a decent. Where they're scoring points is pretty decent on the outside, the back five.
Yeah, they have absolutely no trouble scoring points. There's a good text that's come in here from Mark, which I'll read very, very shortly. Just a couple other ones to get away. And a reminder, Rocco Berry, Warrior Centre coming up very shortly. Phoenix Crossland, the Knights hooker, coming up after 2:30. One text says, Sammy, you reckon Sean, as a touch player, ever shaved his legs? I reckon Kempy did, or maybe he waxed. Can confirm that Kempy is a big waxer, not just of the legs either. He's a full body waxer. Brendan,
are you getting Blokes to actually text this in here now saying, are you running out of ammo?
Thanks, Mum.
Just for the record, never, ever.
Yeah.
There are a few blokes around here. I must admit that
denial is the sign of a guilty man. Brendan says, afternoon, Sammy and Kempy, excited for this weekend, boys. Listening to you guys in the comfort of our off-grid cabins in Pukehina. I've been following you two all year. Good. You do an awesome job. Go the Warriors. Great to have you listening, Brendan. And what an awesome part of the country, Pukehina. Spent a New Year's there 1 year. Fantastic little beach. Lots of sharks though.
Yeah,
lot of bronzies out there.
Well, they'd leave you alone, mate. You're a toothpick.
I'm a bit scared. Zaid has texted in, our good friend Zaid. He's got tickets to the Warriors Newcastle's game on Saturday. Can't wait. Wondering if we think Sean Johnson, how many minutes he'll play. I saw earlier apparently he's been doing his own training and has a meeting with the team this week because I don't want him to get any more injured.
He would be. He'd be in Cottonwall too because they don't. They want to give him every opportunity to be ready to play, but also to last the game out. So, it's one of those things. Like you have those quad injuries or those slight hammy twinges or calf pulls, and you don't know whether it's your Achilles with a calf, and then you go out there and what happens in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, is that as the adrenaline kicks in, the pain goes away, and you just get in and you're like, man, I'm all right, and you tend to forget it, and then as the fatigue starts to kick in, sometimes it tends to go, and that's the only concern that I have is that, if it's a high intensity game and Sean is involved as he has been this year, it's about if he can last the 80 minutes and get through it so they can rehab him again.
Damo says, take the Newcastle eye patch off, Uncle. They are big losses. He's talking about Lachlan Fitzgibbon and Jackson Hastings and Jacko, who I think, Jacko, you might be a Newcastle fan. He says, listening to Kempy, we've got no hope. With a laughing emoji, or maybe he is a Warriors fan. He also says, if SJ is in doubt, why the hell is Volkman not in the reserves? I imagine that's probably just because they'll put Walker in if Sean was.
Well, they'll go back to what they started with, and you don't wish that to happen. You want Sean to play because I think there's one big thing that was missing against Penrith, and that was our kicking game.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. Some of the kicks from Walker that only went about 20 metres, and then Penrith are starting on the halfway line. In all honesty, Kempy, I actually think the Warriors did well to keep the score line less than what it was at half time. I just thought they were getting absolutely pummeled.
I think Penrith pulled the engine out, mate, and put an electric battery in there and just put it on cruise
Nothing
control.
Wrong with electric batteries. Tony, have you ever driven a Tesla?
No.
Mark says, hey, we'll just finish on this one before we go to the break. Rocco Berry after the break. Hey, boys, firstly, I'm not salty, but if you look back at the last 6 games of both the Warriors and the Knights, the calibre of opposition both played is a lot different. I know it's only a one-off, but there will be a support for the Knights there. I just think they'll be way too sharp for the Warriors. Interesting from Mark. And look, when you do look at the Knights' 10-game streak Kempy. I think they beat the Rabbitohs in there. They beat the Sharks as well. But, there was no Penrith. There was no Brisbane. I think they did beat Melbourne as well, though. But, a lot of it was against weak opposition. You look at the Warriors as well. The back end of their season was against weak opposition as well. We always wondered if that was going to be a hindrance for the Warriors heading into finals, the fact that they hadn't played a top 4 team by the time they get to finals in about 10 weeks.
It got a bit of a shock, didn't they, last
100%. 100%.
It came out of the gates. It was a Group 1 race, and you're coming out of a Group 3, and you're not hitting those levels. And Nathan Cleary, he basically showed you in the first half when he was hitting Liam Martin down that right side continuously. And they were chopping him down. He was saying, "You're going to keep doing this for the whole game. I'm going to wear you down." And when he ran across that field and went around, went through Montoya and Pompey and went around Pompey, it was basically the icing on the cake for him.
Yeah,
when he's doing that, he's in a dinner suit. And I just think, yes, I hear what you're saying about the games and the games that we didn't play, but you've got 7-day turnaround, you've got 80 minutes to change it, but you've got to lift the intensity. And I think what we have on our side and why you finish in the top 4 is that you get a life and you get to come home. Now, hopefully our crowd understand that, because the crowd needs to play its part this weekend and really drive our team.
Right, we've got to take a break because Rocco Berry is going to be waiting on the line on the other side as we go to the break. Someone's on YouTube saying, "Why are you wearing a Jaguars jersey, Kempy?" That's because Kempy is a big pussycat. We'll take a break and we'll come back with Rocco Berry after this.
You're on fire. Well, I've been lucky enough to be joined by Rocco Berry, the Warriors centre out there on the right edge, and he's joining us and running the show. Rocco, how you going, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Mate, that's good. Hey, guys, jump straight back on the jet after the Penrith game. How's the body? How did everyone pull up?
Yeah, no, I think everyone's recovered pretty well. We're a bit sore after the game. It was a pretty physical game, but yeah, we had a train today and a bit of recovery, so yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. Mate, it's been a bit of a breakout season for you, locking up that centre spot. Must be pleased with your season so far?
Yeah, no, pretty happy. Still feel like, there's a lot of improvements to go, but yeah, happy with how the season's gone, and still, hopefully a few more games left.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about your journey, mate, because you signed with the Warriors while you were still at school, and you spent the couple of years with them, didn't you, through COVID over there in the development. How's it all been? How's the development from school to finding yourself in first grade been?
Yeah, so I moved up straight from school in 2019, I think, and then did my first pre-season in Auckland, and then pretty much straight to Oz. And I was just training pretty much the whole year and then rehab for a bit, and with an injury, and I learned quite a bit just over there from watching video and stuff pretty much the whole year, and watching the boys train, and kind of found what it takes to be an NRL player for a bit there. So yeah, it wasn't the ideal development, kind of being just over there not playing, but I feel like I learned a lot, and yeah, it's helping me out now.
Yeah, and making it into first grade, you started the season, found yourself put in first grade, and then just secured that spot out there on that right edge. What have you made of playing first grade as compared to playing in the younger grades or coming through the school system? What's been the major difference for you?
Yeah, well, I was pretty much just rugby in school, so there's obviously the physicality from that, easily the major difference, and then the fitness is huge too, and the difference between grade and reserve grade is definitely the physicality too. Is the biggest one, the step up from there, and the speed of the game too. It's a lot quicker.
Mate, did you find yourself thinking to yourself, pinching yourself, this is my first season, and all of a sudden we've finished in the top four and I'm in the semis? And how'd you find it? How'd you find your first week of semis?
No, it was unreal. Obviously, playing against Panthers, they're a top team, and they're always going to be tough. And yeah, I love being able, the opportunity to play against great players, and also I get to play with them each week. In our team, we've got some big names and some real experienced players who have done a lot of great things in our game, and yeah, so it's something I don't take for granted, and real grateful for. Yeah,
mate, you're doing a good job holding down that spot out there, Rocco. A lot of criticism comes to centre's way. I've spoken to it before. Because they're basically the last men standing out there on the edge defensively. How have you guys spoken about that all, and have you addressed anything defensively this week coming up against Newcastle?
No, we just want to stay in our system that we've got. We feel like it's worked all year when we execute it properly, and we're on the same page. So we're just trying to get back to that, and we're confident that if we do that, we can do a job.
Yeah, and you're finding that difference in defence between your rugby union days and the structures and systems in rugby league. You've accustomed yourself to that. Is there much difference to the way you were taught as a kid as opposed to the later development here at the Warriors?
Yeah, I feel like the reads in league, it's like in that sense, it's a completely different game. I think with jamming and staying and stuff like that. That's it's a real big difference compared to union, where that kind of wasn't as much of a thing for me. So yeah, that's the main one I learned.
Yeah, and just tell us a little bit about that partnership that you've got on the inside there. You've normally got Luke next year, you've got Tamari next year at the moment. Of course, you've got Dallin outside you there. What's it been like just developing those relationships out there on the edge? Yeah,
I've usually got Sean beside me, which I think his defence has been unreal this year. He's been gets in front of everyone and puts his body on the line, and that makes my job a lot easier. And I've got Dal outside me too, who he's been real solid as well. So I just kind of have to do my job, and makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, so just give the listeners a little bit about that, mate. Sorry, I'll put you on the wrong side of the pitch then. Just give the listeners a little bit of education here. Like when you're defending that centre spot and you've got people coming down that side at you, how important is it to have trust on you, especially on your inside?
Yeah, I think obviously with most teams run the block shapes and stuff like that. You need your half making it, getting his body in front there, and it makes it a lot easier for me. So I don't have to, I guess, be in two minds, and I've got to make the right decision, and so it makes it when that half's defending well too.
Yeah, no, it's not as easy as people watching on telly, do they? Think, oh, they're always jamming in, or you're staying out, or whatever. It's a lot more to it these days when you've got people around you that also have to make those decisions. Hey, Rocco, what have you built your game on this year? Because I've noticed that you've got a really good kick chase, and you're getting down there and putting a lot of pressure on, especially when Sean kicks it down your side, on those attackers. Is that a part of your game that you want to sort of grow, or what are you building your game on out there on that right edge?
I like getting on the kick chase. I think Sean's got he's got a great kicking game. I think it's one of the best in the comp, and he puts it up there. And I feel like if he's putting up good kicks, I want to repay him by chasing them hard and putting pressure on them, which Dell chases great with me as well. So that's definitely a part of my game that I've really tried to work on, and it's kind of an effort thing. It doesn't take much talent or anything like that. So
And what about offensively, mate? Like your attack, obviously, very good on your feet. You're working on that in-out type play out there in the centres. Is there? Do you think more to Rocco Berry's game in the future as far as attack goes?
Yeah, I definitely. That's part of my game. I'm trying to grow. I think. They'll come with more games and opportunities and stuff like that, and working at training and stuff like that. Being able to put my winger away is something I really want to get better at and do more of. And I feel like a great opportunity to do that playing outside of Sean and Murata and stuff like that. Who they draw in lots of numbers and will hopefully give me more space.
Well, it doesn't get any easier, mate. Stephen Crichton last week, and there's talk this morning with Latrell Mitchell pulling out of the Australian side that young Best playing in the centres for Newcastle. I think he'll be marking up against this week. The centres, it's a bit of a challenge. Do you know much about him? What are his strengths, and what are you looking to do on the weekend against Newcastle?
Yeah, he's got he's a great player. Obviously, he's an Origin centre, and I think that comes with playing NRL. Each week you're playing against the best of the best, and I back myself that if I defend it within the system, that I can do a job with my teammates, and so that's all I'm going to try to do is go out there and do my job, defend our system, and if I execute that, then I think I'll be right.
Is it fair to say, mate, that you guys come home and just concentrated on recovery and getting ready for this next game and wiping that one out against Penrith?
Yeah, we reviewed it. We reviewed it after the game, and I did it after the game, and so we didn't just let it blow over. But we fixed a few things, but a lot of our focus on this week and getting back to playing the footy we know we can.
Yeah, yep. And of course, it's just gone up. The sold out signs once again at Go Media Stadium. Mount Smart's been put up. It's sold out. It's going to be bumper wall to wall. Fans there. What has it been like, mate, running out there with the crowds this year? Because it's not the first time it's been sold out.
Yeah, no, it's been unreal all year, and something looking forward to. This is the first time I played at Mount Smart, so it's been great first experience playing there. It's been pretty much sold out every game, so hopefully they'll be all out there again this week, and can't wait.
Mate, just to I know I've got to ask you the question, Rocco. Like, are you lying there thinking, mate, we're just a couple of games away from a grand final? Like, has it crossed your mind, or are you just really focusing on getting through Newcastle this weekend?
Oh, it's definitely there, knowing it's that close. But we know that we've got to get the jobs up this week, and it's do or die. And it's pretty much this week that we're focusing on because if you look too far away, then you kind of lose sight of the job in front of you, which is nice this week.
Mate, any news you can let us know here and running it straight? Is Sean looking okay at training? Are we expecting him to play?
Yeah, he's tough, mate. I reckon he'll play. Good
man. All right. Well, all the best against the old boys, my old boys, the Newcastle Knights, up against you guys on Saturday, mate. You've had a fantastic season, Rocco. There's a lot more to Rocco Berry, I can tell, in the future. So go out there, mate. Defend stoutly, attack, and cause heaps of problems in front of your home crowd, mate. Can't wait for Saturday.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Welcome back into Running It Straight. 25 minutes away from 3. Great to hear from Rocco Berry. Very bright future ahead. Kempy, and a big riser in 2023. Not many people probably had him on their radar, but he's flown on. I guess the big question next year is going to be where he/Adam Pompey fit in with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and the young Ali Lautoa, who I thought was the player of the day for the New South Wales Cup team against Canberra on the weekend. They absolutely decimated them. They've also got a finals game this weekend as well, as they look to make the grand final. If they can win that, they're just one step away. Team lists for this Saturday, and I see the Warriors have just done an update on Shaun Johnson, saying that he is progressing well this week, training on his own. He's going to train on his own tomorrow as well to ensure that he's got his best prep for Saturday. So the team lists for the Warriors: Chancellor Klukstad, Dallin Watene-Zesniak, Rocco Berry, Adam Pompey, Marcelo Montoya. That is the back 5. Tamati Martin, Shaun Johnson in the halves, of course. Front rowers: Adam Fanor-Blake, Mitch Barnett, Wade Egan, the number 9, Jackson Ford, Maratini Akorde in the second row, Tohu Harris, the 13. On the interchange, Dylan Walker, Jazz Tavanga, Bailey Siren and Josh Curran. Lots of messages on YouTube and 8833 Kempy. No Bunty Afol once again. They did bring him in late against Penrith with the Shaun Johnson exclusion, and a lot of people just saying that they think we need Bunty in there. What do you make of Webby's 17?
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think with Dylan Walker and Jazz Tavaga on the bench there, and if you needed to use Josh Curran on the edge because you can move Marata Nuakure to the middle, he's got plenty of cover there. And based on the fact that Adam Fanor-Blake plays big minutes alongside Mitch Barnett, and of course Tohu Harris, who was, I thought outstanding, probably our best player on the field against Panthers. They're talking maybe size, but look, the game, our team isn't about size.
No.
Our players are all about footwork and getting through the defensive line, popping up off the ground with the quickest play the ball in the competition. I remember at the beginning of the year, that was a real good stat that the Warriors had. And then on the back of it, getting our team going forward and starting to build some pressure. And I think that's really important this week with the guys that come on. I think the big difference here with the team that's been named is that Dylan Walker's back on the bench, and that energy change when he comes on, especially against Newcastle, is going to be important.
All right, Newcastle 17, Kalen Ponga number 1, of course. A lot of question marks over that knock he received at the end of the game against the Raiders, whether or not he should have been stood down for an HI protocol. He is there. Dominic Young and Greg Marju, the 2 wingers, Dane Gagai, Bradman Best, the 2 centres. One of the best back 5s going around the comp at the moment. Tyson Gamble, Adam Clune in the halves with no Jackson Hastings. Then the front rowers, Jacob Saifidi, Leo Thompson, Phoenix Crossland, who we're going to catch up very shortly, the hooker. Tyson Frizzell, Dylan Lucas, the second rowers. Adam Elliott is the lock on the interchange. Kurt Mann, Daniel Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, Matt Croker. So, Kempy, give me a couple of key areas for Saturday night, just putting the 17s up next to each other. Where do you think the game's won and lost?
Well, definitely having Shaun Johnson back is going to be a massive gain for us, because his kicking game and his building pressure is going to be really important if we're to get in the right part of the field and create opportunities offensively. I just think everything revolves around Kalen Ponga, and the only way that he's going to get on the front foot is if the likes of the Safidi boys with the Leo Thompson, he's having a big year, the Kiwi boy over there, Tyson Frizzell, Adam Elliott. And of course, when Kurt Mann and Jack Hetherington come on, they've got a big enough pack to roll through the middle. That's what they'll be hoping for, and why they've been so successful over those last 10 games and allowing Kalen Ponga to basically rule the game. So, it's going to be a real big battle in the middle. I think after last week, the boys will come back and they'll want to sweep that one under the carpet and get on with it. And I'm expecting it to be a pretty torrid encounter out there in the middle of the park.
It's going to be fantastic. Like I said, 6:05 kickoff on Saturday live here on SENZ. Now, just want to let a little bit of a cat out of the bag here. We know how desperate everyone was to get tickets to this game on Saturday. We may or may not have in the mixer a couple of tickets to give away on SENZ. That's all I will say. Tomorrow and Friday, just stay tuned. I'm sure it's going to get put out all over our social media. But if you are dying for tickets, there is a chance to win some here on SENZ over the coming days. Just stay tuned, and we'll give you all the details as they come. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Phoenix Crossland, the Knights hooker who has just flourished in that role in 2023, born in Wellington as well. So does he still have that Kiwi blood coursing through his veins?
The Kiwis.
We will find out right after the break. running it straight here on SNZ, 15 minutes away from 3. We are talking all about the Knights v Warriors, live from Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart, on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, 6:05 kickoff live here on SENZ. What a massive occasion. The first home finals game for the Warriors and their fans since 2008. Big occasion for the Warriors, but also a massive occasion for the Newcastle Knights, who are hunting for win number 11 in a row. That is quite remarkable. Not even the top teams in the NRL that win minor premierships and premierships can get to that feat, and here are the Newcastle Knights doing it as they try and make their way through to the preliminary finals. We've been very lucky to get over to the Newcastle camp before they fly out and catch up with the hooker for Newcastle, Phoenix Crossland. He joins us on the line now. G'day, Phoenix. Welcome in.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Mate, first and foremost, how are the bodies holding up after going into extra time in what was a pretty gruelling game on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, a few sore bodies around the joint today, but we've got a recovery day, a bit of media this morning, so everyone's happy and good spirits because we got the win. So I guess you pull up a little less sore when you win. So all the boys are all good, I think.
Talk to us just a little bit about, I guess, how intense that game was, mate. I mean, first finals game for Newcastle in a long time, and I imagine a lot of you probably the first finals game as well. Talk us through just, I guess, how big of a step up that was.
Massive step. I think I said it during the week. I sort of said we had a bit of a taste test with the Bunnies and Sharks, but in all honesty, mate, it was on the weekend was a whole nother level. So it was my first finals game, and I probably didn't expect it to be that intense. I guess extra time sort of probably made that happen. But, mate, it was such a cool experience. And, to get the win and progress to week 2 is something I'm very proud of, and the boys are very happy to do that. Yeah,
the atmosphere, mate, at that ground looked unbelievable. You're going to get that as well this week at Mount Smart. I'll tell you now, the tickets are flying off the shelves, so it's going to be fantastic. Mate, just quickly before we talk about this weekend, 10 in a row. Look, even the best teams, the teams that have won minor premierships over the years and I guess finished inside the top 4 struggle to string together 10 in a row. What's been the secret from your perspective?
I think we've just sort of nailed our sort of game style down. Although on the weekend, I don't think we sort of did that. I think it's probably one of the worst games to play within the 10 weeks. But I think we've just sort of found our identity, and I guess we're sort of fed off the town a bit. As you said, the Warriors doing the same thing over there, and we're sort of doing it over here too. We're just feeding off the town and what they want to see. So things are just clicking for us at the moment. It's been really nice to get a few wins and finish the year pretty good. So I'll just say our identity's been found and we're just clicking real well.
You got a bit of Kiwi in you, mate. Born in Wellington. Is that going to play a role this weekend? Are you looking forward to coming back over the ditch?
I can't wait. I've got heaps of family over there, and a few tickets for them. So we played there round 1, and it was in Wellington, so that was cool. And I always love coming back over. It's such a wonderful place and a cool country, and the people are lovely. Even the fans, even though they're not going for you, they're really nice to you. And such a cool experience, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Mate, so Mount Smart, like I said, tickets flying off the shelf. It's going to be a massive occasion. It will be, I imagine, similar to what you had on Sunday, only the fans will be against you. Just talk us through, I guess, what you are expecting as a team. It'll be win number 11 if you do get it on Saturday. So, what's, I guess, been the messages being post the win on Sunday heading into this weekend?
We haven't really looked too much at the Warriors yet. I think that's today's job. We're really looking forward to going over. As I said, the fans are against us, but, the games I've watched on TV, I watch most of the Warriors games when they're at home purely because of the fans and also because the Warriors are playing so well. They're a good team to watch. But, I can't wait to get over there and experience that. And, I'm even looking forward to seeing the Warriors right now because the scenes that they have, when the stadium goes blackout and you're sort of just standing there, it's pretty intimidating, but it's going to be so cool and so excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, you can't take the Kiwi out of you, mate. I love to hear it. Just before we let you go, mate, just on you personally, look, I guess you're probably more familiar playing in sort of that halfback role. You've shifted to hooker. What I guess has been that change? What's that change been like for you, and how much have you had, guys like Danny and Joey helping you out, helping to learn that role?
Yeah, Bedsy's been massive for me, as is, Browers. I've said it before, Rory, so Jason's here too, Michael Monahan. They've all been so supportive of me in my transition to the 9. And, as cliche as it sounds, man, it's just keeping it simple, make my tackles and, pass the ball well. And things are just sort of unfolding off the back of that. So, and I've also got a really good forward pack around. We've got the Staff, Sarge Elliott, Leo, Hadro, Croaks. We've got a great sort of core forward pack. So I'm just sort of slotting in there and doing what I need to do for the team. And it's working at the moment. So, I've just been loving it.
Mate, and just finally, are you doing anything, I guess, for the fans there before you come over? You're having like an open training session or anything for the fans to just sort of, I guess, come and see you off before you head over to New Zealand?
I'm not too sure. I think, I wouldn't have a clue, man. It wouldn't surprise me. There's always fans here watching us train in Newcastle, whether, we get that over in Auckland. I don't think there'll be too many Knights fans over there, but...
You'll be surprised, mate.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. No, I think we'll probably definitely have something this week, but... the fans in Newcastle, they watch us every session, so no doubt they'll be there this week.
Yeah, mate, the similarities between the Newcastle fans and the Warriors fans, like you said, just such loyal fan bases. It does take over the entire town, the entire city. So, mate, we're really, really looking forward to having you guys come over here. It's going to be a cracking game on Saturday, regardless of the result. I think everyone's just looking forward to seeing a great game of finals footy. So good luck for the rest of the week, mate. Travel safe. We'll see you here on Saturday.
Thanks, mate. See you over there.
There you go, Phoenix Crossland, the Knights hooker, and he's having a great year in 2023. Just does his job like a lot of those players in that spine. Kempy, he's nothing flashy. He's not going to win Dally M's and awards, but together as a team, here they are on the verge of 11 straight. Which, he's been
the find of the year for Newcastle. Young Brayley, who's come up from Cronulla, he probably won't get the spot back off Phoenix in that number 9 jersey. He's been as good as anyone else who's slotted into first grade, and especially that 9 jersey too at Newcastle. You know what I mean? It's a pretty prestigious jumper, and I guess the benefit of him having gone in there is he's got Danny Badera sitting there in the back room helping him out. But he's been like, they took Cooper Cronk out of the hooking position, put him in halfback, and look what he did. Mm-hmm. They've done the opposite. They've moved him, Phoenix, from half to hooker, and he's been a revelation.
He's going to be dangerous on Saturday afternoon as well. We'll take a short break here on Running It Straight. When we come back, few of your text messages as we build towards 3 o'clock. Running it straight, we are going to hand over to the run home very, very shortly. We haven't talked about Storm Roosters this weekend as well, Kempy. What do you think is going to happen in that one? Because obviously the winner of that goes through to Penrith. You reckon?
Yeah, look, I think that the scary part about it, Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes and Cameron Munster will be absolutely licking their lips to get stuck back into another game after what happened to them up in Brisbane. I know that there's going to be a couple of changes. I'll probably change out their centres. There's a kid playing, his name's Fa'alogo. He's playing fullback, and I reckon he's a beauty, mate. So keep an eye on him. I think he'll have a big game Friday night. But I just think the Roosters have lost too many players. No Manu, no Saul.
Billy Smith, is he out as
Billy
well?
Smith's out. So their back five has been pretty disruptive. And when you've got Munster and Jerome Hughes, they'll put pressure on them and really build it. And I think they'll run over the top.
Pretty remarkable the Roosters to make it this far can be given where they were. So it's probably an achievement for them to recover like they have. We'll see if that continues into 2024 and if they end up being at that top position like we all predict them to be in 2023. How many of us had them as the minor premiers in 2023?
Yeah, there's a few of us, and given I think the World Cup too. I think everyone's looking forward to getting out the back end of the year. Look, I don't think Joseph Manu will play for the Kiwis this year.
There'll be a lot of there'll be a lot of rest.
There'll be a lot of players, especially with the World Cup coming off the back end of last year, that actually don't make it through to this Pacific Cup. But then not a hell of a lot of thought went into that. But it's all about the Warriors this weekend. I think Melbourne do it in a Canton. I think the Warriors, they get up against Newcastle as well.
Do you want to give me a margin for Warriors?
I think it's going to be really close, mate.
You say that every damn week.
No, I do not. But I think it's going to be really close, and it's all going to come down to Sean Johnson playing 80 minutes.
All right, there you go. That is us for another Wednesday. That is us for running it straight. Hopefully we have another show next week after the Warriors get the job done against Newcastle on Saturday night.
I have to spend another week with you.
Enjoy it, folks. If you're going to the game, have an absolute crack. It's going to be an epic atmosphere. If you're watching at home, tune into SENZ, sync it up with your feed. Why not? That is us for another Wednesday. Thanks for all your comments on YouTube and on 8833. See you next Wednesday.
Up the Waz.